leadership of Uttar Pradesh. We are grateful, we are privileged, and we are extremely proud to be part of the great growth story of Uttar Pradesh. I'm sure many of you are aware that every sixth Indian citizen is actually belongs to Uttar Pradesh. So there are so very many proud people seated in this audience today. Our distinguished guest, Shri Alok Sinha ji, has spared time out of his busy schedule to share this vision for us. To simplify the direction that is envisaged for this great state of India, Uttar Pradesh. They have come with a mission. They have come with a mission to share that direction for the young persons here, particularly you, my dear students, to empower you, to tell you what are the opportunities ahead, to tell you what is the dream ahead, to share it, to break it down for you in simplistic terms. Thank you so very much. This is ahead of the global summit that is scheduled, Global Investors Summit, wherein, as Ritu informed you, Dr. Ritu informed you, it's going to be think tanks, policymakers, investors, all converging in huge numbers to bring investments. On behalf of Shri Sunil Galgotia ji, the Chancellor of the University, the CEO of the University, Mr. Dhruv Galgotia, the Chief Operating Officer of the University, Ms. Aradhna Galgotia, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Babu, and the entire Galgotia's University family. It is my privilege to extend a very warm welcome.
Recording in progress.
It is
Recording stopped.
It is my proud privilege to welcome you to this gathering. Thank you very much, sir, and a very warm welcome to you. We are witnessing a golden era in the history of India. Today, the world is in the grips of turmoil. It's breaking up. An atmosphere of despair and gloom in the global scenario, driven by COVID and then the Ukraine-Russia war. And in this gloomy, dismal atmosphere, the only bright spot is the growth story of India. My dear students, led by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, and with his other twin engine Sarkar of Uttar Pradesh, India is now poised to take its rightful place in the global leadership, from where we had been removed because of the colonial period. And we are so proud today that the last vestiges of the Raj, the colonial rule, are being done away, whether it is renaming of Rajpath to Kartavya Path and many more things. As regards Uttar Pradesh, in 30 decades, the government led by Yogi Adityanath ji has won a second mandate, has won the mandate of the people for a second consecutive terms. It reflects the confidence that the public has in Yogi Adityanath ji's governance. Ye hua sabka saath. Sabka vikas. Investors are coming in droves, investing in policies. Sabka vikas. Confidence of the investor. Corruption-free governance. And of course, great investment in infrastructure. These are the pillars on which Yogi Adityanath ji has poised the growth and development plank of Uttar Pradesh. Infrastructure development. As Honorable Minister Piyush Goyal ji refers to Shri Adityanath ji as the infrastructure man. I belong to Lucknow, sir, and every time I go back there, I grew up there, where the roads were not there, the drainage system was bad, and I am so proud to be a citizen of Uttar Pradesh. बच्चों, हम लोगों ने बहुत सुना हुआ था when I was growing up, which is more than 6 decades ago. How much more? I will not tell you. When I was growing up more than 6 decades ago, बहुत सुना था, पढ़ा था स्कूल में, भारत एक सोने की चिड़िया है, देखा नहीं था, पर अब हमें वो चिड़िया दिख रही है. The wings of that bird are technology, investor confidence, investments that are coming. ऊर्जा क्या है? What is the energy that drives that golden bird? Yes, of course, I admit it's you, but also transparency, honesty, and a strong determination to do what is right by the government, by the double engine ki sarkar. We are proud, we are extremely proud to be governed. We are extremely proud to be governed by a chief minister. I would like to just interrupt to welcome Miss Yashu Rastogi ji, whose train was delayed. Ma'am, why don't you occupy your rightful place on the stage? Thank you very much. Namaskar. And a very warm welcome to you. We are very proud to be governed by a chief minister who has a missionary zeal to make Uttar Pradesh a $1 trillion economy. And we assure you, sir, our message to the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh is that we, the entire Galgotias University family, are deeply committed to the cause of honest growth, transparent governance, and we would be ever so happy. We are always ready to commit our effort, time, money towards the cause that furthers the interest of Uttar Pradesh. Thank you very much, Mr. Sinha and Ms. Yushi, for joining us today, sparing so much of your time to be with us, to share with these young men and women that what a privilege it is to live in a nation who is on the ascendancy. Thank you very much. God bless you. Jai Hind. Thank you so much, ma'am. We now have the message from the Chief Minister himself.
निवेशक एवं उद्यमी बंधुओं, हम भारतवासी वसुधैव कुटुंबकम यानी पूरा विश्व एक परिवार है कि मूल भावना से मानवता की सेवा करते हैं। विश्व के सबसे लोकप्रिय नेता एवं भारत के यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी के प्रेरक एवं कुशल नेतृत्व में भारत निवेशकों का फेवरेट डेस्टिनेशन बनकर उभरा है। पिछले 8 वर्षों में हमारे देश में राजनीतिक स्थायित्व एवं गुड गवर्नेंस के नए दौर का सृजन हुआ है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के मूल मंत्र रिफॉर्म, परफॉर्म और ट्रांसफॉर्म का अनुसरण करते हुए आज उत्तर प्रदेश नए भारत का ग्रोथ इंजन बनकर उभरा है। प्रचुर प्राकृतिक संसाधनों वाला उत्तर प्रदेश, गुड गवर्नेंस, अपराध एवं भ्रष्टाचार के प्रति जीरो टॉलरेंस की नीति, सबसे बड़े उपभोक्ता बाजार, सिंगल विंडो पोर्टल निवेश मित्र, एमओयू का मॉनिटरिंग पोर्टल निवेश सारथी, ऑनलाइन इंसेंटिव मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम तथा 25 निवेश फ्रेंडली औद्योगिक नीतियों के साथ ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस में अग्रणी राज्य है। आज उत्तर प्रदेश देश के सबसे आधुनिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वाले राज्यों में शामिल हो चुका है। राज्य में 6 एक्सप्रेसवे पूर्ण हो चुके हैं, 7 एक्सप्रेसवे विकसित किए जा रहे हैं। प्रदेश में भारत का सबसे बड़ा रेल नेटवर्क उपलब्ध है। हमारे यहाँ 3 अंतर्राष्ट्रीय एयरपोर्ट संचालित हैं तथा 2 निर्माणाधीन हैं। वर्तमान में 9 एयरपोर्ट क्रियाशील हैं तथा 10 एयरपोर्ट पर कार्य जारी है। भारत के पहले अंतर्देशीय जलमार्ग का हल्दिया वाराणसी पथ संचालित हो गया है। उत्तर प्रदेश भारत की जीडीपी में 8% का योगदान दे रहा है। वर्ष 2022-23 में प्रदेश की जीएसडीपी लगभग 21 लाख करोड़ होने का अनुमान है, जो वर्ष 2016-17 के जीएसडीपी के सापेक्ष 65% की वृद्धि दर्शाता है। इस दौरान प्रदेश की अर्थव्यवस्था औसतन 11% की दर से बढ़ी है। आज उत्तर प्रदेश देश की दूसरी सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था बनने की ओर अग्रसर है। पिछले 5 वर्षों में, जिसमें वैश्विक महामारी कोरोना कालखंड में जब पूरा विश्व आर्थिक चुनौतियों के दौर से गुजर रहा था, के बावजूद उत्तर प्रदेश में रिकॉर्ड 4 लाख करोड़ रुपए से अधिक का निवेश परियोजनाएं प्रारंभ हुई, जो उत्तर प्रदेश में निवेशकों के विश्वास का प्रमाण है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के संकल्प के अनुरूप उत्तर प्रदेश भारत की इकोनॉमी ग्रोथ को गति देने के लिए तैयार है। इसे तो उत्तर प्रदेश की राजधानी लखनऊ में 10 से 12 फरवरी 2023 को ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर समिट का आयोजन किया जा रहा है। मैं आप सभी को ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर समिट 2023 में आमंत्रित कर रहा हूं। आइए नए भारत के ग्रोथ इंजन की रफ्तार का हिस्सा बने, उत्तर प्रदेश निवेश करें। नए भारत के नए उत्तर प्रदेश में आपका स्वागत है। जय हिंद।
We have another video.
The blessed land of Ram, the modern land of expressways, the blessed land of Krishna, the leading state with 5 international airports, the blessed land of Ganga and many religions, the dynamic land with rapid connectivity, Uttar Pradesh, the land that has always remained India's cultural and spiritual capital, now has been transformed into New India's growth engine. Come and discover unlimited enterprising opportunities offered by New Uttar Pradesh at UP Global Investors Summit 10th to 12th February 2023. The 3-day event happening in the vibrant city of Lucknow will witness the participation of 10,000 global corporate leaders, innovators, business visionaries and startups from over 20 countries. 10 nations confirmed their participation as partner countries for GIS 2023. Concurrent to the summit, an exhibition will also be organized from 10th to the 14th of February, where companies from India and overseas will participate to showcase their technologies, innovations, investment opportunities, investment potential, and have B2B interactions. The Yogi government organized a series of domestic and international roadshows before hosting the GIS 2023 to showcase UP's soft power and promising business destinations. Delegations from the state already travelled to 21 cities in 16 countries and garnered more than 7 lakh crore rupees of investment intents. Imbibing Prime Minister Narendra Modi's mantra of reform, perform and transform, Uttar Pradesh has already emerged as a favourite among top industrialists of the country. And why not? After all, it offers a consumer base of 24 crores and 56% working age population and is a top ranking state in ease of doing business. Let's have a look at Uttar Pradesh's thriving business ecosystem. With 6 existing and 7 upcoming expressways, now Uttar Pradesh is known as Express Pradesh. What's more, it's 9 operational, 10 upcoming airports, world-class interstate 4-lane highways, and the futuristic rapid rail transport system from Meerut to Ghaziabad and Delhi are turning Uttar Pradesh into a popular logistic hub of India. The state is also the destination of India's first water transport system and the largest airport coming up at Chebar. Now, that is why UP is called the gateway of big future investment.
Indeed, a very inspirational message, and which definitely brings a feeling of oneness, and we are very sure, we are very proud of it. The state of Uttar Pradesh has been actively promoting an enabling policy framework to attract investments for job creation and sustainable development using its enormous potential. The state is working on building Uttar Pradesh a $1 trillion economy by promoting Make in India and encouraging entrepreneurship and innovation through more than 25 sectorial programs. We have amongst us an alumni of IIT Delhi, an IAS 1986 batch, Sri Alok Sinha IAS retired. It is very difficult to give his introduction, but I'll try my best. He was District Magistrate in Dehradun, Etawah and Uttarkashi, Divisional Commissioner of Meerut Division. He holds extensive experience in the fields of industry and infrastructure and served as MD of Meerut Power Distribution Company, Chairman UP Power Corporation, Additional Chief Secretary, Principal Secretary Industry, Chairman Noida, Chairman Airport of India, and was instrumental in modernization of many airports including Mumbai and Delhi. He also implemented the GST regime in UP as Additional Chief Secretary. He retired from the position of Agriculture Production Commissioner of UP. After retirement, he is working with farmer producer organizations and women's self-help groups to help improve their conditions. He is a movie buff, like most of us, and very enthusiastic sports person, and represented his institute in 6 different sports. Still plays golf, table tennis, and bridge. We welcome you, sir, and I would request you, sir, to kindly share words of wisdom enlightening us towards the goals of his family.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction that you gave, and advisor to Vice Chancellor, Chancellor, ex-Vice Chancellor, and now advisor to Chancellor, Ms. Luthra, and Mr. Dr. Avdesh Kumar, Pro Vice Chancellor, faculty of Lalgotia University, dear students, and my colleague Yashu Rastogi. This is a very unique initiative which has been undertaken by the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh during this, the forthcoming Investor Summit. Earlier, there was another Investor Summit in 2018, which was about 5 years back, and I think learning from that experience, he started, and we have all in different colleges have senior officers have been sent to apprise the students and the faculty about what is happening in Uttar Pradesh, especially with reference to the Global Investor Summit. As you know that India, and especially within India, Uttar Pradesh, we are on a high growth path. And when you are on a high growth path, you require investment to maintain that kind of growth. And globally, China was moving with a very high speed, and it grew for the last 20-30 years. It had a sustained growth rate of more than 6-7%, and it has reached a position where it has reached now. But now, what has happened is that gradually the cost of production in China is increasing. and it is anticipated that a lot of investment will move out of China to other countries. So when attracting investment, it is like any other marketing exercise. When you make a product, you have to do marketing exercise to market that product. Similarly, when you have to attract investment, you have to market what you have in terms of the kind of infrastructure opportunities that you have, in terms of policies that you have, so that actually what happens is when people have to make investment, they evaluate all the different avenues that they have to make that investment. For example, anybody who is making investment, who decides to make an investment, he will evaluate not just UP, he will also evaluate what is happening in other states of India. They will also evaluate what is happening in other countries like Vietnam and Taiwan, Bangladesh, what is happening there. So ultimately, they want to maximize their profits. This is the aim of an industry, that they want to maximize their profit. And profit can be only maximized when their costs are low, when the production quality is high, when the skilled manpower available to them is very high. So that is the requirement, and they evaluate. They hire consultants, and the consultants go out and give ranking to all the investment destinations that are there. And after deciding on which investment destination offers them best opportunity in terms of cost, in terms of market, in terms of other things, then they zero in on an investment destination. So all the investment destinations that are there, even within India, you must have heard a word called competitive federalism. Niti Aayog has coined this term, which is called competitive federalism. That means even within India, the states have to vie for investment. States have to vie for the kind of growth that they want to achieve. So that there is competition. There is always this feeling of competition between states, which state wants to do better. So with all these things in mind, Uttar Pradesh decided to hold this Global Investor Summit. The earlier Investor Summit, which was held in 2018, wasn't a Global Investor Summit, because the time available to hold that summit, the new government had come to power in 2017, March, April, and then I think October they decided to hold the summit, and February 2018 was the date for the summit. So there was not much time for people to go out and attract global investment. So it was more of a domestic kind of investor summit, which was also quite successful, because 4.5 lakh crore worth of MOUs were signed, and it was received very well. Honorable Prime Minister came and inaugurated the summit, and later on there were 2 groundbreaking ceremonies were held in each. About 60 to 70,000 crore worth of investment were introduced. So learning from the earlier experience, now Uttar Pradesh has launched this Global Investor Summit, and in 16 different countries, teams have already been sent. The teams have gone there. They visited 21 countries out of the 16 countries, 21 cities out of 16 countries, and I believe already 7.5 lakh crore worth of investment MOUs they have already signed. So we are starting with this Global Investor Summit with the opening stock of about 7.5 lakh crore worth of investment proposals which are already in hand. So it's a very, very encouraging sign for the UP Summit. Now, ultimately, what happens? You must have heard that India is going to overtake China in terms of population. But high population can be a burden or it can be a boon, depending upon how does that population behave. Whether it's a trained manpower population or whether it's the population somewhere just people come and sleep and eat and do nothing. So the quality of manpower is very, very important for that population to become productive. So for India, if it has to compete globally and has to beat China, then we have to make our population really productive in terms of providing them correct education, in terms of providing them correct training. So with this perspective in mind, the Chief Minister decided that we must go out and hold this kind of sessions in all the universities, institutions, engineering colleges, and connect the youth with the Global Investor Summit. So, because ultimately, whatever investment comes, it is for the future population. That is you. So, whatever is happening, it is happening for you, so that you can have better employment opportunities. You can have a better quality of life. You can live in a better developed kind of urban infrastructure. So with this in mind, this Global Investor Summit decided that we should go out and connect the youth of different colleges, different universities with the Global Investor Summit, and also there should be some kind of connect. That you should not just hear or read in a newspaper that Global Investor Summit is happening. You must also feel that okay, there is a Global Investor Summit happening, and if I will request Professor Dr. Luthra that if a team of students can be sent from here to during the time of Global Investor Summit, which is on 10th, 11th, and 12th, maybe they can just tie up with the industries department in Uttar Pradesh, and a team of students and faculty member can go and just have a visit, because there are visitors there. Yeah, so that will be very good, because they will first hand feel, and they can also interact. They can participate in some of the sessions and participate and see what is happening, how proposals are sent, how policies are presented, how investors react in such a kind of situation. They may also get to hear Honorable Prime Minister and Chief Minister during the opening and subsequent ceremonies. So it will be a very, very good experience for them, because this is a very unique thing. It doesn't happen very often. I mean, as I told you that this Global Investor Summit is happening after 5 years, earlier than 2018. So it will be a very good opportunity for you to go there and see what is happening. Now I have two presentations lined up. I don't want to go very deeply into the presentation, because I know they are regarding policies and what is there, and I don't think policies are much relevant for you, but the policy making process can be of relevance to you. So what we'll do is we'll just go through the presentations, and then we'll invite questions from the faculty and students, and make it more kind of an interactive session, so that I can answer your queries and see, and so that you also know through interactions what is happening. And as I believe that if you want to know what is happening, you must ask the correct questions. If the question is correct, then the answer will also be correct. So that way you will be able to know what is happening. So this is the vision of Honorable Prime Minister, and this he said when he had visited Uttar Pradesh in I think April or March 2022. So I just read it. It was the Yogi government's initiative to develop infrastructure, including a network of wide highways, expressways, and rail that created an atmosphere for big investments in a state like UP, which has considered difficult for business in the past. Today, UP has become a favorite place for investment as new industries are coming up to boost the Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign. So this was the word from Honorable Prime Minister himself, and which was very, very encouraging for Uttar Pradesh. Now these are just a bird's eye view of what is happening. This is our GSDP 2021-22. Uttar Pradesh had a 19 lakh crore GSDP. We have 12.9% share of export, 10.9% is the growth rate. 24 crore is population. So this is what is happening, and even during COVID, Uttar Pradesh fared very well. Uttar Pradesh, the name doesn't figure because I think it's got blocked. Whereas the world growth was negative 0.3, negative -3, -8. India had -6% growth. UP had only -0.2% growth. And if you talk about the cumulative annual growth rate, economic growth rate, then UP is very high. I mean, India is 7 and UP, the CAGR is of 8%. This is what we have in mind for the Global Investor Summit, to target an investment commitment of 15 lakh crore. So 15 lakh crore is the kind of investment that we are targeting. And already a lot of work has been done in Uttar Pradesh. We have second largest network of roads, largest railway network. You know, there are two industrial corridors crisscrossing India. One is EMIC, which is called Delhi Mumbai Industrial Corridor, and one is AKIC, which is called Amritsar Kolkata Industrial Corridor. And both those corridors pass through UP. They in fact meet at a place very near called Budaki in Bulandshahr, I think Bulandshahr or Dadri area. So, and you must be knowing that railway is a very big means of transport for industrial goods. But when the passenger trains and goods train, they share the same track, then the speed of transport becomes very, very slow. So that is why it was decided that we should have two corridors which are specifically for goods trains. So these PMIC and AKIC were formed with that vision in mind, and UP is fortunate that both those corridors are passing through UP, and even they meet at a place. So in terms of infrastructure, UP is very uniquely placed, and we have very good infrastructure. And during the last 5 years, a lot of network of expressways has been developed, and UP in fact has become a state of expressways. These are our rankings in good governance index: first rank, export preparedness, second rank, achiever state doing. So when investors they hunt for a place to invest, they also go into the process of how easy is doing business in that state. So that is why this concept of ease of doing business. I mean, the processes, regulations, government approvals, how easy it is to get government approval. So Government of India decided this, introduced this concept of business reforms action plan in 2014, and started ranking states in terms of which state ranks first in ease of doing business. And UP, which was earlier ranked 14, now moved to second position last year. So UP has improved itself a lot, and this happens when you do away with a lot of regulations, do away with a lot of laws, unnecessary laws, you do away with a lot of paper filing. So all those things have been done away with, and a lot of things have become online. A lot of things have been, you don't require approval, you just file it and it will be assumed that it is true. So a lot of things have been done so that business don't have to run from one office to another, and they get the approvals very fast. So in order to attract investment, people want, when they come to you, they ask, what is in it for us? Why should we invest in your state? So for that, different policies are made so that we can also decide. We also want to focus in which field we want the investment. Industry is a very big word. Within industry, which kind of industry do you want? You want food processing industry, or you want electronics industry, you want textile industry, depending upon the kind of manpower that is there in UP. So for example, UP is a primarily agrarian state. We have 70% people dependent upon agriculture. So a food processing policy can be a very good policy for Uttar Pradesh to attract investment. So because it will consume what is being produced inside Uttar Pradesh. And electronics, UP has become a very good hub for electronics. Most of the mobile manufacturing units, whether it is Vivo, Oppo, Samsung, all those units are established in this area. In fact, in this Yamuna Expressway area, Greater Noida area, these are hub of mobile manufacturing unit. There's another, I mean, the Apple iPhones are also being manufactured, but they are not in UP. They are currently in Tamil Nadu. So we also want that, because Apple has a very, very big network of suppliers who make their iPhones, who make their MacBook Pros. So we want that kind of investment should come, so that Apple manufacturers of Apple should also come to Uttar Pradesh. So we have this 25 sector specific policies. So for different sectors, like for big data centers, I mean, data center is something which is coming up very fast, which the advent of AI and big data and machine learning, big data centers are required all over the world. And UP is coming up with data center policy, which is there. We also have startup policy to encourage people like you who have some ideas in mind and who want to start their own enterprise as a startup. So these 25 sector specific policies are there. I think the list will be mentioned later. But I will not go through the policies because policies will not be relevant to you. So these are the policies: defense and aerospace, civil aviation, maintenance, repair, MRO organization, export promotion. So all these policies are there, which have been formed, keeping in mind the kind of investments which we want to attract in Uttar Pradesh, and also what others are offering on those industries. So suppose we have a solar policy, because we have a lot of area in Bundelkhand where there is a lot of sunlight, and we want solar companies to come and set up their solar parks in Uttar Pradesh. Then we'll also see what is Rajasthan offering, what is Andhra Pradesh offering, what is Gujarat offering, so that we can compete with them and we can attract investment in Uttar Pradesh instead of, because they will come and evaluate what is Uttar Pradesh offering, what is Gujarat offering, what is Rajasthan offering. So we have to compare all the policies and then come up with a policy which is one up on other policies, and the investment comes to Uttar Pradesh. So it's a very, very interesting field to work. It's a very, very interesting field to work to formulate policies. And this is primarily the job of us, I mean the bureaucrats in the ministry, in the government, to study what is happening in the world, study what is happening in other states, and come up and suggest a policy. So that's a trade-off. It's a trade-off because you offer something and then in turn you get investment, and when the investment comes, the employment also comes. So the people of Uttar Pradesh get an employment. We have a huge pool of human resources, but huge pool of human resources will be meaningless if they are not trained people. They have to be specifically trained. Suppose we want like you must have all of you must have heard about ChatGPT. Now ChatGPT from OpenAI is the latest rage in terms of the AI, what is the AI world. Now Google is also coming up with their version of ChatGPT. So this kind of technology, the artificial intelligence technology requires very specific, very highly trained, very highly technical people who can work in artificial intelligence. So for computer science graduates who are working here, or I mean Bennett University or some other university, industry will come only when they are able to get the required skill set here. They can get, okay, we can get required skill set, we can get manpower, only then they will come. Now Google, as you must be knowing, selects from all over the world. They select the highest brains and they get them employment in DeepMind. DeepMind is a very, very secret project of Google, which is situated in United Kingdom. 60, 70 people work there, but it works on projects which are futuristic projects. They do something which is totally, so it depends upon what kind of skill set is available. So huge pool of human resources can be a burden or it can be a boon, depending upon how well trained the human resources are. So here the responsibility of the university authorities, the college authorities, the faculty and the students most of all. Because you have to continuously upgrade yourself, you have to continuously improve yourself so that you become eligible, you can become available for the high-tech job, for the right kind of job. Because ultimately the investors have to come in UP, they will look for the required skills, and the required skills can only be provided by the institutes like the Galgotia University or the universities which are around here. I mean, this is just information, I will not go through it. These are, now, for industry to be set up, you require two kinds of infrastructure. You require infrastructure which provides them land, which provides them electricity, which provides them drainage system, which provides them power. So all those things are there, will be there so that they can set up their industry. Second, they require a social infrastructure because maybe some expats have to shift here, maybe the families have to shift there, so they will require good schools, good hospitals, good eating places, good places where they can reside, overall kind of ambience where it is good to live. So they require good infrastructure for industries and they could require good infrastructure for social, in terms of social. There are some special parks also required because special, like pharma parks, they are mentioned there. Pharma parks required a lot of effluent treatment plants because a lot of chemicals go out of, when you make medicines, a lot of chemicals go out. So you require, the common effluent treatment plant can be centralized and a pharma park can be made. And defense corridor means a lot of people who are into defense industry, they can set up their industry defense corridors, and ancillaries can be there inside there. And then we have leather parks, textile parks. So all these parks are designed or made so that specifically people can come and set up their specific industry in these parks. Similarly, there can be food parks. And these are major land banks. So this is all exercise to tell people what is available in Uttar Pradesh in terms of land, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of policies. This is again, I talked about the ease of doing business thing. So Nivesh Mitra is a portal where people can directly apply online and get approvals online. They don't have to run from pillar to post to go to offices to get approvals. These are the sectors where UP is seeking investments. So defense and aerospace, electronics manufacturing, semiconductors. Semiconductors is a field which is very, very, there is no semiconductor unit in Uttar Pradesh. You must have heard of AMD and Nvidia. These are the industries which are there. Samsung is a big industry, but they don't setup, there is no setup which is, there is no industry which is making semiconductor inside Uttar Pradesh. In fact, within India, I don't think there is any industry which is making semiconductors. Now there is a tie-up by Vedanta to set up a semiconductor industry in Gujarat. So semiconductor is something which is the basis of everything. Any electronics you talk about, semiconductor has to be there. So a semiconductor is something which is very, very important. It requires huge investment. It requires investment in terms of 1,000, 25,000, 20,000 crores worth of investments, and it requires a lot of land. It requires pollution-free environment. So there are very many requirements for these things. So specifically sector, depending upon sector, there are requirements of that sector, and if you want to become a wholesome kind of investment destination, then you have to provide those kind of infrastructure, those kind of policies, those kind of decision-making processes, and you have to compete with the best in the world. So you have to become best in the world. So it is a globalized world. You cannot remain aloof and see, okay, people will come to us. No, this is not like works like this. You have to be globally competitive. Only then the investor will come to you. So now this is the statement from our Honorable Chief Minister. Now is the time for Uttar Pradesh, and taking full advantage of its potential, the state will become the most important base for multi-dimensional development of the country. This was by 2027, Uttar Pradesh will become a benchmark for the policy of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, with achievements of $1 trillion economy, which is, I think, a very ambitious target to become $1 trillion economy, and it happens. I wish it happens, and it will be great for states like UP and people of Uttar Pradesh. So it was said, and these are the international outreach. So, and then domestic roadshows were also held in these states to attract people from domestic industry. So this is the thing now from Lucknow 12th to 12th February 2023. The Global Investor Summit is going to be held. So next presentation is about policies. I will just very quickly go through the policies, and then we can open the house for interaction, question, whatever somebody wants to make any comment. Can you upload the next? So, it's not visible. These are the policies. I just have this page, and if see anything relevant to the next page, I will just finish in 1 or 2 minutes. So this is the policy: online city management system, MSME policy, industrial policy, textile garmenting policy, dairy farm, blah blah, UP agri promotion policy. So from agri export, bioenergy, film policy, pharmaceutical policy, civil aviation. So there is a all spectrum gamut of policies available here, so that wherever investors want to come and set up their investment in Uttar Pradesh, we have some shops to offer to them, some infrastructure to offer to them, handhold them. On these policies, there is a provision of hand-holding officers. So whenever an investment comes, there is an officer allotted to that particular investor, so that he doesn't have to go through officers, and on his behalf, the officer of Uttar Pradesh goes and sees that he is not stuck anywhere. So these policies need to be amended from time to time, so that they are relevant with time, so that it doesn't happen that we made a policy in 2022 and it will be relevant in 2027, because things are changing so fast that you have to keep changing your policies to keep having a look what is happening in other states, what is happening in the world, which technology has become irrelevant, which field has become irrelevant, which field is coming up. Like data center policy was introduced, I think 2 years back, because suddenly it was realized that data centers are a very big investment opportunity. So these things, policies have to keep changing. So officers of the government have to be on the lookout for how to make changes in the policy, what kind of ingredient should be there in the policy in terms of what benefits should be given, long-term benefits, short-term benefits. So all these things are there. So these are, I think, these are specifics of the policy, not much relevance here. But I think a copy is there, out of the copy they are being uploaded. So if somebody wants to go through these policies, they can have a copy, or they can have digital format. They can have these policies. These are also available on the site of Invest UP, so you can go through these policies there also. So I'll not go through this. Not much to mentioned here. This is civil aviation policy. So this is about all I think what UP has to offer, and now I think we can have questions or interactions or comment, whatever, from the students. If anybody, I'll be very happy to answer if you have any questions or clarify if you want any kind of clarification. I'll be very happy to share.
Yes. Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
My question might be not welcomed by some, but sorry in advance for that. But my question is that India is really heading toward 5 trillion economy, or it is another bluff from government?
See, $5 trillion economy earlier, when before COVID, it was, the target was 2024 that we become $5 trillion economy. We have already reached $3 trillion economy. So, it is not a bluff. It is a very, very serious thinking on the part of government that the problem with most of the people in the country is that we are not very aware of what is happening on the economic front. We are aware what is happening otherwise, what is happening in politics, what is happening there, here and there. But specific economic steps which are being taken by government to achieve the $5 trillion economy, people somehow are not interested, and it is not covered in media unless you go through the specific economic newspapers. Then you will find out what are the specific steps. Because these specific steps are relevant to people to attract investments. They are not appealing to mass as such, because they will not understand these things. Are like PLI scheme, not relevant for many people. I don't think many people here will know what PLI is, but for people who want to benefit from PLI, they will know. And PLI scheme has increased the exports of iPhones and other things from India. So in order to achieve $5 trillion economy, the size of the economy depends upon the power of the people to spend. The size of economy, the GDP, is measured in terms of expenditure mostly, and then investment. So it is part investment, but mostly expenditure. And expenditure comes from how much you are able to spend, and how much you want to spend. It is not just question of money. You may be having 100 rupees, but you will be willing to only spend 30 rupees. So when you spend those 30 rupees, it goes to some other person, then that person spends something out of that, and something. So that 30 rupees may end up adding an investment of 150 rupees in the economy, because 5 people have spent that money. That is called velocity of money. So $5 trillion economy is although it's a concept, but then you have to work in terms of attracting investment and generating employment so that people have spending power. So that is a very much the agenda. It is very much high on the agenda of the government to achieve $5 trillion economy. But when it happens, it's a question, because how many people will be able to contribute that kind of expenditure use that kind of expenditure in the economy to reach that $5 trillion economy. My guess is that next 3 years we should be able to reach $5 trillion economy.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, my dear students, please ask.
And don't be apologetic. It's a very relevant question.
Yeah. So, how you can contribute in the development of our nation? So, you should ask questions relevant to that also. Sir is having very much experience in developing. He has contributed a lot, being an IAS, senior IAS officer, and now he is retired. You have heard about him. So, how you will contribute instead of 5 trillion? How the India will become 10 trillion? So, these type of questions you please ask. If you are not asking good questions, then you have not listened properly.
Besides, you have any kind of आपके दिमाग में कोई भी जिज्ञासा हो पूछ लीजिए.
Yeah, please.
If you want to know how to get into IAS, so Yashu is here. She is a young IAS officer. वो भी बता देंगे. कोई civil service देना था तो वो भी पूछ लीजिए. It doesn't matter, because we are here. You can take this opportunity to ask whatever you want to ask.
So can I ask a question here? So this side. Yeah. Sir?
हाँ.
Yes, sir. Sir, recently UP government has set up a data center specifically in the area of Greater Noida. My question is regarding the cybersecurity domain in that regard. That we have seen during the COVID period, there is a rise of 68% of crime rate specifically related to cybercrime. And is there a special provision that the government or any policy that you have shown us can be instigated in this regard, wherein we can provide a technology transfer, being an academic institution, towards the cybersecurity and artificial intelligence involvement in crime solving? If you can highlight that, please.
So actually, they are two different things. Data center is a different thing. Data center is something where people store data, and about cyber security, there is an organization of Government of India have some kind of network throughout the country to see if something fishy is going on. So cyber security, as per the IT Act, is looked after by Government of India. In fact, I know people who have got notices from Department of IT because there was something fishy happening on their IP address. So they monitor all the IP addresses and see if something fishy is happening on there. But still, you know, the computer is something which is hackers can go anywhere and do something. But there is an organization which is from Government of India, which is specifically looking into cyber security.
Very good morning, sir.
Good morning.
My question is different from this topic.
Yeah.
Sir, I am mentally prepared from my 12th class that I want to become an IAS officer. So, sir, I want to ask, what is the consistency required for this exam?
First of all, I will give you a very simple lesson of philosophy. It's from Gita. See, कर्म आपके हाथ में है, फल आपके हाथ में नहीं है. ठीक है? The moment you address your question that you want to become an IAS officer, that is a wrong question. You can only say that I want to prepare for the civil services exam and give the exam. Whether you become an IAS officer or become an income tax officer, that is not in your hand.
Yes.
So in your mind, you should be clear that you want to give the civil services exam and prepare for that exam well. So you must ask the question, how do I prepare for the exam well? You may become, you may not become, because if you have expectations, then you will have a lot of pain. So don't start with any expectation. You start with simple thought that I want to prepare for this exam, I want to prepare well, I'll give my best, and let's see whatever happens. So I think Yashu will be...
Sit on. So I'll just add a little bit here and would say that we must all ask a question to ourselves, how is nation building? So it might not be, civil services alone. It could be the private sector. And I think the basic idea of this presentation was that the government is actually inviting a lot of investment because it needs to co-opt the private sector to create job opportunities, to improve the infrastructure of the country. So first and foremost, when you talk about taking up IAS as a career, the first point that you should be very clear about is, because when we start thinking about IAS from the beginning, from our very formative years, we probably don't know what IAS is all about. So this is the right time. College is the right time when we actually see a lot of other sectors around, and we have an insight into things around. And now you should take a fresh perspective of what your skill set is and how best your skill set can actually help the nation. So I have worked in the private sector for 5 years, and it was a very distinct idea in my head that this is how I can contribute better, and not in the private sector. Now, it doesn't mean that the private sector doesn't allow you opportunities. In fact, private sector is allowing a lot of opportunities, a lot of technological advancements in the country are coming in from the private sector. So, first and foremost, one has to be very clear in his or her head. And then about the consistency, I guess when you know why you're doing it, why is it that you want to do it?
then the entire syllabus that you go through, the entire effort is inclined in that direction. Everything is oriented in that direction. You start thinking about the news articles, you start thinking about the magazine articles, even your basic subject, you would actually think about it in that direction. So that basic orientation is very important. 6 hours or 18 hours is not important. So I did only 6 hours, somebody might be doing 8 hours, another person might be doing 18 hours. So you need to identify your weaknesses, your positives, your aim, and then actually work towards it. But civil services is not the only option. There are a variety of options, and you can actually try for any of the options which actually helps your country best. Okay? Thank you.
Sir, my question is regarding the startup valuation in our country. Because, sir, what's your views on when an investor invests in our system, in our ecosystem of the startup and funding? Investor invests it takes heavy stake for some amount. So it lacks in innovation. And what we see in US startups, it's totally purely based on, most of the startups is based on innovation. But what we lack, what I think and what I see here is we are lacking in innovation just because of we are not getting enough money in defense startups also. So what are your views on that?
My view is that in US there are very many innovation-based startups because there is a lot of very good ecosystem in Silicon Valley for innovation. So you have to have that kind of atmosphere where a lot of innovations can take place, and it's basically an individual initiative. It is your idea, and you then start making, and your idea is then judged by the investors, and they see value in that idea. If they see value in that idea, they can take very small stake for very high valuation. But if they don't see it, it depends upon you, because nobody knows how it is going to come in the actual world when the startups start making things and your idea actually fructifies. Nobody knows what is going to happen. But you would start with a basic premise, okay, this is what I am going to do. So when you come up with an idea, you do something, you make somebody's life easy, or you do something which people have not done. Or people are doing, then you do it more efficiently. So that is why only your startup will become successful. So that innovation can be in terms of ideas, that is a totally new thing. Innovation can be in terms of a new process. Innovation can be in terms of making people's life easy, saving money. So all these spectrum of things which are there in the startup, when an investor comes, he will see his values, how much he is going to earn from your startup or from your ideas. So you see, if I'm going to put X amount of money now at Y stake, how much that stake is going to become, let's say 5 years from now. Secondly, your idea, how much it is scalable. That idea is going to become a 1,000 crore company, whether it's going to become 10,000 crore company, or whether it's going to become a unicorn, $1 billion company. So that depends upon your ideas and then investors' assessment of your ideas. But basically, innovation can happen anywhere. But if there's an atmosphere for innovation, there's 10 people who are working on some kind of thing, and you are interacting with them, then there are chances that you will hone your skills, you will come up with your ideas better. So if within this institute there is an incubation center, and there are many people, there are 5 people, the chances of a good idea coming is less. There are 1,000 people, then the chances of good idea coming to 4 is very high. So the more number of people, more the chances that an innovative idea is come. So it's only a matter, because people know that people in Silicon Valley are sitting with bags of money. So a lot of people flock to Silicon Valley. Most of you may also like to go to US after finishing your graduation here, because people know that they can develop their ideas later. They can get a proper atmosphere for support of their ideas. They can get proper investors. So that is why people from all around the world They flock to US, they flock to Silicon Valley, have their startups. We only get to hear the successful startups. We don't get to hear the unsuccessful startups. So when we talk about, okay, this has become unicorn, this has become unicorn, for every unicorn, there may be thousands of people who couldn't do anything, and the startups couldn't take off. But one out of many can become a Facebook, one out of many can become anything. So it's a question of, basically, if you want to create good startups, you must have a good base, you must have a good flock of people, good innovation centers here in India. Only then startups will come, the frequency and the percentage of startups which will do better will only happen then.
Sir, good morning. Sir, good afternoon, sir. Raju Hazare, Dean Engineering at Galgot here. So, sir, congratulations. Very great initiative the government of EP is taking with respect to infrastructure development and road transport system and everything. I think 2 years back, I have seen government of India keeping 76,000 crores for electronics manufacturing. I see Fab Lab, we were expecting. But till now, we are not able to see the progress that was expected with respect to fabrication, because we want to be independent of the China and the Taiwan. Taiwan is a small country which is supplying electronics for entire globe. Why, as India, big country, is not able to do progress in this direction? That is, I'm curious to understand, because budget was there, everything was there, but manufacturing has started. But with respect to fabrication of ICs is concerned, chips are concerned, till it is not progressed.
No, it is not.
That is my understanding, sir.
Yeah, that is true, but now Vedanta has announced that they are going to set up in Gujarat with an investment of about 25,000 crores. They are going to set up a fab unit for manufacturing of, chips. So that is the first. I'm actually thinking that for fab you require a lot of support from state, and no state was, I think, in the position to give that kind of incentive to industry. So that is the only reason. And plus they require very pure atmosphere for setting up very clean atmosphere for setting fab. But I think this is only a question of somebody must have that kind of financial muscle, and Vedanta has that kind of financial muscle. They have that kind of financial reserves to set up a fab. So that has become now, I think it will be a reality by 2025. We'll have our own lab. We'll have our own company which will be manufacturing ICs.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir. Good morning. As government has set a target of becoming $5 trillion economy, but recently we passed in terms of population China. So what is the policy? I don't think there is any policy regarding controlling population, because alone population factor can affect many sectors. So is it possible without controlling population factor to become $5 trillion economy?
Actually, I think if you have heard, many countries are facing a problem of reducing population. They don't know what will happen if their population is not increased. So as I said, that increasing population can be a boon or it can be a very big setback depending upon the quality of manpower which we have in that population. So our main concern is to train the kind of population that India is going to have.
So
and without population you cannot have any economy. So if you have a population, good population, working population, then investments will come. When the investments come and that people get jobs, they will get income, they will spend that money, only then will become $5 trillion economy. So priority is to, first of all, whatever population that we have, we must train that population and then use that population to become $5 trillion or maybe $10 trillion economy. It is not a question. So those two things are not connected.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. As an investor, when people see in any sector, front row. Myself, Dr. A.K. Jain. I am a professor of chemistry here. As an investor, when somebody sees invest in any state, few parameters they look after. The security is very good nowadays in our state. Infrastructure, we measure is going very fastly, trained manpower. But in India, when I see the different state, the R&D policies are not a mandate of state governments. They see the R&D policies are mandate of central government only. As a question that Mr. Raju was asking about the semiconductor industry, because I very closely know that industry also. A small country like Ireland, they have the labs of Intel, they have a lab of analog devices over there. In Taiwan, there are many. In China, there are many. In Malaysia, even they have many fab labs are there. If the states have their own R&D policies in place, so they can invest that kind of infrastructure in their states.
That is true. Actually, the thing is that from the state government point of view, from our point of view, that is people sitting on the government side, it is very easy to quantify the return when you get an industry. So if I have an industrial policy and I say, okay, for industrial policy or for electronics policy, UP will give 2,000 crores worth of concessions. And in return, we will get 50,000, 1 lakh crore worth of investment. R&D is not something which is very clear. Suppose we give 2,000 crores worth of money spent in R&D. We don't know how to evaluate the return which is going to come. The technology which will be developed may be used now, may be used 10 years later, maybe not be used, maybe just be kept and used later. So how do we evaluate? And that is a question which people are not very comfortable. So what they have done is they have made R&D the part of main policies. So industrial policy, there will be something for the infrastructure, something for other things, and small part they will say, okay, if you are setting up an R&D lab or something, the government will provide this much percentage of your R&D facility. So as standalone R&D facilities, government is not supporting. But within that industry, it's the electronics industry or any other industry, within that industry, you are setting up an industry and you are also setting up a R&D lab, that lab portion can be supported. Because then we can evaluate. So we have given money to the industry and this money is being well spent because the investment has come and R&D is also happening. But separate R&D is very, very difficult. There will be many allegations that you spend so much money, what happened? And how to explain to people that this technology is very good, they have come up with this technology, which will use 10 years from now. So then why not use that money so that investment comes now instead of depending upon what is happening there. So basically what we can happen maybe is that to support institutes. So R&D should happen in the institutes also. So the institute can say, okay, this is what we are going to do. Because world over things are happening only in institutes or industry is supporting them. Now, for example, China is spending $120 billion in AI, but that is all being supported by industry. Adani Group is going to spend 70,000 crores in development of hydrogen-based technology, but then again it's an industry-based thing. So when money comes from industry, and then industry takes advantage of that technology to increase their income, to increase their profits. That is how it works the world over. Government may contribute whatever their bit is, but otherwise, basically, it has to be industry-backed.
So my second supplementary question to this is, we have in UP especially very old cities which are hub of industries earlier also, like Modinagar, Saharanpur, Kanpur. Now they are lagging behind in the industrial power. So can government has a plan to give them glory of their all industrial sector, because now every industry want to come to the Noida, Greater Noida, Yamuna Expressway area. And a lot of population are in those areas. So can we scatter this kind of areas also?
So there are two parts of this, the two-part answer to this question. One part is there was a skill set in that particular area, in that particular region, and they are producing something. Now that whatever they were producing can be of relevance now or may not be of relevance now. For example, Muradabad used to produce very good quality pital ke bartan, handcrafted. Now that one handcrafted, whatever picture or something, takes maybe months to make, but it doesn't appeal to people now. In fact, I happened to be in one of the exhibitions where somebody had very good, like, bartan tha, ya surahi thi, pital ki. I asked, kitni? Bola 10,000 rupees ki hai. हमने क्यों? बोले साहब उसको बनाने में 1 महीना लगा है. मैंने कहा अच्छा, लेकिन क्या करेंगे सुराही लेकर के? People who appreciate art may say, oh, yeah, 10,000 rupees surahi le raha hu. So now what happens is, if I don't buy that surahi, that artist who made that surahi will not get reward for his labor. Once he doesn't get reward for his labor, his sons, his bhatijas will not come to this industry. So gradually this art will die. So one is this aspect. Second is there are very many cities who are formed by or who were established by a particular gharana, like Modi, you said Modi. Now Modi gharana established Modi Nagar. They started with their sugar mill, they started with their spinning mills, one or two other things. Now over a period of time, like any other gharanas, the entrepreneurship skills starts coming down, that particular article loses relevance. So the economic activity that was happening from that town comes down. So they are no longer able to sustain the industry, to sustain that kind of employment which was earlier there. Because industries which are established today may not be relevant for tomorrow. You must have heard, everybody must have heard the story of Kodak, how Kodak overnight became irrelevant once the digital cameras came. So this happens to industry also. Tomorrow some other kind of phone will come and Apple will become meaningless. So these are, maybe ChatGPT will become Google meaningless. So this industry, when they become irrelevant, the township which was supporting them, or the township which was based on that in particular industry, they also start losing relevance. So for the traditional kind of stuff, traditional kind of items which were being produced, UP government has come up with a one district, one product policy. So whichever districts had something unique which was unique to that particular district, and some kind of skill set was also required. So they are now reviving those skills. They have come up with this one district one product scheme, which has also been taken up by Government of India, that this is a very good scheme and we must revive the local skills, we must revive the local economy. Like for example, I give the example of Muradabad. उसी प्रकार से खाने पीने की चीजें भी होती, संडीला के लड्डू बड़े फेमस थे, बट संडीला के लड्डू इरेलीवेंट हो गए. तो संडीला लड्डू क्यों अच्छे थे, मथुरा के पेड़े क्यों अच्छे थे, बनारस का फला पान क्यों अच्छा था. वो भी स्किल सेट चाहिए कि वो बनारस के पान बनाने वाले थे जो कि पर्टिकुलर टाइप का पान लेके आते थे, उसको बनाते थे. So these kind of one district one product scheme is also being launched by Uttar Pradesh to make those earlier economic centers again revive and come up. Because if you want to create employment, it will not happen in Noida, Greater Noida area. It has to happen locally in different areas. So उस local area की जो skill sets थे उनको भी हमें मजबूत करना, और उसके लिए उत्तर प्रदेश में ये one district one product scheme is already there. But जो घराने based industries थी उसमें आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. You cannot become part of that घराना to revive that industry.
Thank you, sir. Sir, in your module, I saw there was a particular bit which mentioned electric cars as an investment topic. And being a mechanical engineering student, I really wanted to know which companies that the government is targeting, and how can we as students be prepared to work in this new industry, in this completely new pattern of production.
So EV policy is there, electric vehicle policy is there, but I don't think any company has so far come. I think it will be very interesting to see during Global Investor Summit which company comes and gives their proposal for setting up an EV factory in Uttar Pradesh. But right now, I don't think there is any company has come. Some two-wheeler company had come and given the proposal, but because I'm no longer part of government, I will not be able to know. But if you go and take part in the Global Investor Summit, you will definitely know in the session on EV which companies are there and which companies are interested in setting up shop in Uttar Pradesh.
Hello. So, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So, what do you think about our Indian education system? So after that, my question starts.
Very subjective thing. It is not related to this. So if you can come to me and we can discuss that privately, that will be better. But you can ask them.
Yes, sir. So as we know, our economy indirectly or directly. So you know, sir, Hindi में बोल. सर हमारी इकोनॉमी बिजनेस पे डिपेंड करती है, हम अच्छे से जानते हैं. जितना जीडीपी होगा उतनी हमारी कंट्री आगे बढ़ेगी, जिसका मतलब हमारे इंडिया से बिजनेसमैन बढ़ने चाहिए. वो डिपेंड करता है लिटरेसी रेट पे. तो सर 2022 का जो लिटरेसी रेट था वो सर 77.7%. बट सर 1835 में सॉरी 1935 में जो मतलब गुरुकुल सिस्टम था वो खत्म हो गया था सर। उस टाइम पे लिटरेसी रेट था नॉर्थ इंडिया का 97% और साउथ इंडिया का 100%। सर मुझे ऐसा लगता है एज माय पर्सनल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू कि सर जो गुरुकुल सिस्टम था वो एक तरीके से बहुत बेहतर था एज कम्पेयर टू आवर मॉडर्न इंग्लिश एजुकेशन सिस्टम। क्योंकि सर उसमें है ना बच्चों को पढ़ाने के साथ साथ वहाँ पे क्या होता था, गुरुकुल से अगर कोई बच्चा पढ़ के निकल रहा है तो सर वो ऑलरेडी एक बिजनेसमैन था। क्योंकि सर उनको है ना अपने स्टडीज के साथ साथ उनका अपना खुद का खर्चा चलाना होता था। वो घर से बाहर निकल जाते थे एट द एज ऑफ 13 और 14। उनको अपना खुद से कमाना पड़ता था, खुद से एक्सपेंड करना पड़ता था। उनको किसी से कुछ लेना देना नहीं था। अपने फादर मदर इवन वो लोग घर पे भी बहुत कम विजिट करते थे या करते भी नहीं थे। लेकिन सर आजकल जैसे एजुकेशन सिस्टम में हम जानते हैं कि हमको पढ़ाई करने के बाद ही सर बिजनेस की अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है और सर मतलब उसके बाद ही हम सोच पाते हैं कि हम बिजनेस करेंगे। तो सर क्या इन फ्यूचर गुरुकुल सिस्टम मैं देख सकूंगा?
आई थिंक बेटर होगा कि आप ये सीनियर पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप से पूछिए कि क्या क्या हो सकता है। आई थिंक इन देयर विजडम दे आर डूइंग द राइट थिंग। maybe गुरुकुल is part of their strategy, I don't know. But आप definitely गुरुकुल वाला सिस्टम फॉलो कर सकते हो अपने।
Good question. 2 more questions, please. Last 2 questions.
Good afternoon, sir. So my question is that what is the upcoming era of core engineering like mechanical, civil, electronics and electrical?
देखो इसमें it's a question of demand and supply. Core engineering will always be relevant. But
Sir, in India.
In India की बात कर रहे हैं. But in terms of talent, in terms of the talent pool that is going to be attracted towards that industry, that is very very relevant. एक जमाना था जबकि जो टॉप रैंकर्स थे आईआईटी के वो मैकेनिकल लिया करते थे, इलेक्ट्रिकल लिया करते थे। बट धीरे धीरे हुआ कि नहीं वो कंप्यूटर साइंस लेने लगे बिकॉज कंप्यूटर साइंस इंडस्ट्री बिकेम मोर पेइंग। सो ये जो रिक्वायरमेंट है मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग की, रिक्वायरमेंट कम नहीं होगी, रिक्वायरमेंट उतनी रहेगी। जैसे जैसे लोग बढ़ेंगे आपको वो सारी मैकेनिकल चीजें चाहिए, लेकिन कौन सा टैलेंट पूल इंडस्ट्री में जाएगा दैट इज वेरी वेरी रेलिवेंट। कि आपके टॉप वाला टैलेंट पूल जा रहा है कि उसके नीचे वाला जा रहा है। अगर आप ही सोचो इफ यू हैव हाईएस्ट रैंक इन पर्टिकुलर एंट्रेंस एग्जाम, व्हाट डू यू ऑप्ट फॉर? हमारे बैच में ही देयर इज अ पर्सन हु वाज रैंक्ड 60th इन द सिविल लिस्ट, बट ही ऑप्टेड फॉर आईपीएस बिकॉज़ उसको आईपीएस का शौक था। उसने कहा मैं आईएएस नहीं लूंगा, मैं आईपीएस लूंगा। सो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन कहाँ पे आप जाना चाहते हो, कौन सा इंडस्ट्री टैलेंट को अट्रैक्ट करती है, फिर वो टॉप टैलेंट वहीं आने लगता है। अब जैसे मेरा मानना ये है कि टॉप टैलेंट विल गो टुवर्ड्स एआई बिकॉज एआई इज द थिंग ऑफ द फ्यूचर। सो टॉप टैलेंट एआई में जाएगा, टॉप टैलेंट ईवीज में जाएगा, टॉप टैलेंट हाइड्रोजन में जाएगा, जो कि फ्यूचर की जो टेक्नोलॉजीज है उनमें जाएगा। जो पुरानी टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं, जैसे हमने बताया कि मुरादाबाद के बर्तन में कोई नहीं सीखना चाहता, उसी प्रकार से जो पुरानी टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं वो धीरे 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 कम टैलेंटेड मैन पावर अट्रैक्ट करती है। बाकी लोग जो है वो दूसरे वाले में। उसमें भी ये रहता है कि एक बार अगर इंडस्ट्री में जाने के बाद में आप मैनेजमेंट साइड में जाना चाहते हो कि इंडस्ट्री में सारा साइड में जाना चाहते हो। मेरे साथ जो लड़के आईआईटी में पढ़ते थे वो सिविल इंजीनियरिंग के हों, चाहे केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग के हों, चाहे किसी के भी हों, अल्टीमेटली यूएस में जाके या तो आईटी में चले गए या फाइनेंस में चले गए। मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग वाला मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग कोई नहीं रहा, या तो कंसल्टेंसी चले गए, मैकेंजी ज्वाइन कर ली उन्होंने। तो इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ना एक बात है, अल्टीमेटली वेयर यू आर गोइंग टू लैंड अप, दैट इज अ टोटली डिफरेंट क्वेश्चन। तो पढ़ना बेसिकली ये है कि आप अपने मेंटल फैकल्टीज को ब्रॉडन कर रहे हो, चाहे इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ के करो, चाहे मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ के करो, कहाँ जाके काम करोगे दैट इज नोबडी नोस।
Any other question? Last, okay.
Hello. Very good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Sir, my question is, how can we invest in the economy so the economy is more 5 trillion to 10 trillion? Sir, according to your point of views, what's the policy?
See, हमारे point of view से मेरा point of view है कि आपकी stage पे, if you are an investor, it will depend what kind of money you have to invest. If you are asking as a student, your main contribution will be in terms of your skill set. कि आप क्या कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हो अपने स्किल सेट, क्या आपने क्या सीखा है। जो आप सीखोगे वही आप आगे कर पाओगे, और उसी को देख करके इन्वेस्टर आएगा। इन्वेस्टर आके देखेगा अच्छा ओके, मैं ग्रेटर नोएडा यमुना एक्सप्रेसवे एरिया में आकर के अपना अगर मैं प्लांट लगाता हूँ तो यहाँ पे गलगोटिया यूनिवर्सिटी के स्टूडेंट्स बड़े अच्छे, बड़े टैलेंटेड हैं, वहाँ के कंप्यूटर साइंस के, मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग के स्टूडेंट बड़े अच्छे हैं, और उसमें कोई कोर फील्ड अगर होगी, मान लो जैसे न्यूमेरिकली कंट्रोल्ड मशीन्स हैं, एनसी मशीन्स हैं, वो बड़ी अच्छी यहाँ बनती हैं, या कोई पर्टिकुलर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स की फील्ड है या केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग की फील्ड है, वहाँ के स्टूडेंट्स बड़े रेलिवेंट हैं, तो यहाँ पे जरूर आएंगे वो लोग, यहाँ पे आके सेटअप करेंगे इंडस्ट्री। क्यों जाते हैं लोग न्यू इंग्लैंड में, सियाटल वगैरह के पास में क्यों जाते हैं, सारे बड़ी बड़ी इतनी टेक्नोलॉजी क्यों लगी हुई है, तो वहाँ पे करेक्ट स्टूडेंट मिल जाता है, उनको करेक्ट मैन पावर मिल जाती है। तो अगर आप अपने स्किल सेट को इंप्रूव करोगे, आपको वहाँ के बाहर लोग लेगा कि नहीं यार यहाँ जाते हैं, यहाँ 2 यूनिवर्सिटी है, एक यूनिवर्सिटी गलगोटिया है, दैट टेक्स केयर ऑफ योर एंटायर मैन पावर रिक्वायरमेंट। और लड़के वहाँ के, बच्चे वहाँ के जो निकलते हैं पढ़ करके इतने अच्छे हैं, इतने अच्छी तरह काम करते हैं, मतलब कोई काम जो 10 घंटे में करता है वहाँ के बच्चे 5 घंटे में कर लेते हैं, तो नेचुरली वो यहाँ पे आके सेटअप करेगा। तो आप अपने आप को इंप्रूव करो, खुद ही को कर बुलंद, इतना अपने आप ही वो आगे बोलेंगे भैया तुझे क्या चाहिए।
Thank you everyone for participating.
Thank you so much, sir. Quite an interactive session, and I'm sure we all are geared up now. UPGIS, we are sure, will witness knowledge sessions, cross-border investment commitments, and the summit will be an amalgamation of world business, political and government leaders coming together for the economic development of our country. With this note, I would request Ms. Yashi Rustogi and IAS, Director, State Urban Development Authority, to kindly come and deliver some words of motivation to our young audience. Okay, I would then request Dr. Tej, Pro Vice Chancellor, to deliver the vote of thanks, and before that, sir, kindly present a shawl and memento as a token of appreciation to Ms. Yashi Rustogi.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
That's a good omen.
Have you listened to the slogan that's India superpower by 2020? Have you heard about India superpower by 2020? Who said this? Yes, great. So, if you want to achieve something, you must have vision. India will become 5 trillion economy, or UP will become 1 trillion economy in 3 years or 4 years. If we don't have vision, then whatever we will do, that will be directionless, and any work where there is no direction, so direction multiplied by the mass is momentum, so that momentum will be wrong and will not be correct. Okay, so if the government will provide you infrastructure and environment that sir talked about, then it is our responsibility, it is our moral duty to make India superpower, although it has not become superpower in 2020, but I am sure that the person like Dr. Abdul Kalam, who dreamed about India superpower, so there will be a day we will witness that India is superpower in all aspects, not only in education, in infrastructure, in research, that one one of my friend was talking about. So in all areas, India will be superpower, and we are progressing now as we are looking like the India growth rate of our country is the highest. It is crossing now China, and it is basically the leadership, country's leadership, state leadership, this university leadership. If we are very fortunate that we have very good leader of this university as well as this group, Sri Sunil Galgotia ji, who is also investing in infrastructure in this region, this Jewar area. So thank you very much, Honorable Chancellor Sir, Honorable Prime Minister ji, very visionary leader, Honorable Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, who is creating the environment and has set the vision to become to make this India the superpower as well as developed country. I am very thankful to Sri Alok Sinha ji, senior IAS officer, now retired, but after he is a really busy person and very senior person, he has taken the lead and government has given the assignment to him that you please go to the youth who is the future of this country. And if like Dr. Kalam used to visit to all the universities and used to address the youth, so when youth will understand what government is doing, so probably we will ask very good questions and we definitely will contribute how India will, if government has set the target of 5 trillion, so how we can make it to 10 trillion. So that kind of vision if in the government is having, then we will follow the mission accordingly. So thank you very much for coming here and sparing your valuable time, sir. We have one more IAS officer who is Miss Yasu Rastogi ma'am. He is Director of State Urban Development Authorities. She is also leading this project. Thank you very much, ma'am, for coming and sparing your valuable time here. Honorable Professor Renu Luthra, the advisor to the Chancellor, sir, and former Vice Chancellor of this university, very visionary lady, and she has handled and she has taken the initiative to how the student will be benefited in this university. So thank you very much, ma'am, for taking this initiative and organizing this whole thing. Thank you, Dr. Nitin Gaur Saab, who has arranged everything in a very short span of time. Probably day before yesterday, he received a mail that yes, this kind of event is required, and when he discussed with Chancellor Sir said that whatever resources, whatever is required, you please go ahead and welcome them, everyone, so that ultimately the student must be benefited, and if a student will be benefited, ultimately it will contribute to the university, to the state, and to the country. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you all the deans. Thank you all the deans who has come here, who will definitely guide other students who are not present in this auditorium. Controller of examination, the other officers who are representing the state. Thank you very much for coming here, and they were yesterday also here, and they were making sure that everything is fine here, and I hope we have done very well here. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you very much to the future of the India, you, okay, who came to this auditorium and have listened to such experts who have explained everything about this investor summit, and I'm 100% sure some of you, maybe offline or online mode, you will definitely come to know about this investor summit and some queries who are the investors in e-vehicle area or in any other area, you will come to know. And finally, this skilled manpower will make our country superpower. Thank you very much.
I
request everybody to kindly stand up for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आश मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
चलो चलो एक्सेलेंट हो गया।